Michael, I am so happy that we have connected today, specifically about Empatico. And I mean, I know I'm personally really excited that the Digital Citizenship Institute, we've partnered with them. You wrote a great blog post. You've been using it with the teacher. I would love to get your perspective of what it's been like to use Empatico in your district.
Yeah, absolutely. I stumbled on it on Twitter, of course, and it just sounded
All the
when I
things,
saw.
that's where we find them.
That's where I find everything. It's from the Kind Foundation. So I was already captured by Kind, and I saw the hashtag Spark Empathy. I'm like, wow, okay, I can get behind this, and I just kind of started checking it out, and I saw that it was a tool for global collaboration, and I, as a technology integration specialist, wanted to find a classroom that I would be able to take this to. I found a teacher who I actually think I put an email out to the staff. I took the first one that responded, so I could tell the excitement was there. And we dug in, we made an account, we looked at behind the scenes, and there were some projects in there. And basically, we had to pick 2 projects, and it was perfect because this was a social studies and science classroom. And
What grade?
this was actually grade 5.
Okay.
And which is perfect because Empatico reaches from grades 1 to grade 5. And we then selected community cartographers because the students were studying mapping skills and learning all about their coordinates and their north, south, east, west, and all that. And then we also
Always best.
took the what was the other project? Weather Out the Window. And, we have the 4 seasons here in Western New York, and we thought it would be neat to see and learn from a classroom somewhere else in the world and what they were going through. And we essentially registered and sent it off into the cloud, and it was like, thank you for registering, and we will contact you when we find a match. So we waited, and we didn't have to wait too long because I think they announced on Twitter when their matches were going out. And we were matched with classroom in Andover, Kansas at Prairie Creek Elementary School. Shanda Seibel was the teacher. I hope I'm saying her name right. She is awesome. And our classrooms made that connection. We fired up the Empatico teacher dashboard, and it basically says your partner teacher is waiting. Click to go live, and with one click of a button and an active webcam and a microphone, we were talking to each other, and the kids were waving and saying hello, and that kind of kickstarted.
Okay, I think that's really
the connection.
Amazing. So you don't have to go outside for that connection. I don't have to use another tool.
Nothing.
I get it all within, right? I mean, that has such ease.
Yeah, there's no Skype, no Google Hangouts, no appear.in, you could just stay right within that platform. And I think for teachers that are busy and maybe they're a little bit timid of some of the technology, you could just jump in and it's going to work for you. And what was really nice was Empatico cared enough to ask at the end of the call, how was the quality of the video call? And you could kind of give them that feedback to let them know so that they could develop anything on their back end that they needed to fix, but nothing needed fixing. It all just worked super smoothly.
That's fantastic. So when you make that match, is the match dependent upon the other grade, like the same grade, or your time availability, or is there a combination?
I want to say that they try to partner on the same grade, but they may be willing to go one up or one down depending on the content or the curriculum and the standards that you're trying to hit. But basically, you just put your time availabilities into a calendar. So you can section off. I'm available from 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time to 11:15 Eastern Time, or, for example. And Empatico behind the scenes auto aligns that with all the other teachers' calendars and time zones, so you can find your common availability so you could actually be live at the same time. So you don't need to worry about trying to figure out that they're 3 hours ahead or 4 hours behind or whatever.
That's another bonus because I'm always messing up time zones. Always. Consistent.
Huge bonus.
So that makes it so much easier. So that's when you are signing up as a teacher, you're putting in your time zone and it's doing all the work for you. And I love that you don't have to go out of the platform to really make this connection. It's all within the platform.
And there's a chat feature built right into it as well. So if I send a message, would you like to connect on such and such a date? You can send an invite to them right through Empatico. And every time I send a chat message, it also alerts on the email, which is nice because I don't have to log into Empatico every day to check. I'll get an alert on my email, which will say, hey, you have a message from your partner teacher. Why don't you go to the teacher dashboard to respond, and then I can log in and we can carry on the conversation without needing to be in there in real time. Just that message, the messages don't go away, so I can also scroll back and backtrack on our
You want
conversation.
to
But
share what it was like when that connection was made, what the students did? That the whole focus is around empathy. So did you see that as like the foundation of these lessons?
Absolutely. When we first connected, we went into it without saying we're going to do community cartographers or we're going to do weather out the window. It was let's just let the kids meet each other, ask each other a few questions that they're interested in, and just make that first initial connection to kind of get them excited and curious about what would come next. And so it was just neat to see the kids were excited. This class that I was in had never connected globally in that way before over live video. So that was a first for them. So I think right away, that now they were interested to see, okay, hey, can we go to Google Maps and find out where this school is located? They wanted to see we calculated how many miles it was from our school to their school. And then the kids wanted to find out how long it would take to walk there or drive there or fly there. So just some of the questions that were just kind of naturally coming up from them were neat. And basically the kids just introduce themselves. Hi, my name is, and tell a little bit about their school. And from there, we kind of that was like the teaser for our actual connection. And then there were some activities that we were going to then set out to do to take the learning aspect of it to a new level. So I think the empathy thing just kind of falls in line with, these kids are just like us. We have so many things in common. But also to ask questions about the differences. So
I love that. That's when you get that opportunity to realize as a student that there are more things that make us the same than make us different, and things that make us different are like the best part of humanity, being human. So, how do you see this related to digital citizenship?
As I look at, I have the poster here from ISTE where it says learner, leader, citizen, collaborator, designer, facilitator, analyst. And I really see a lot of these things being pulled into what happens in Empatico. The digital citizenship, the students have to learn to communicate well with each other in video, and also with the activities in Empatico, taking them outside of the digital realm and where they're actually doing some things on pencil and paper, and then sharing that back in the digital space through our portal and our platform. So I like that it appeals to a different variety of learners, and I think the students need to know, what it talks about in their pillars are perspective taking, critical thinking, cooperation, and respectful communication. Probably the things that you would expect the students to do in a digital space, but also in a non-digital space. I think it's just citizenship in general.
That's fantastic. I know that you, because we got to talk before, any visuals, anything that you'd like to share that products that the students had created?
Yeah, so you start with this, which is nothing, and it's a north, south, east, west map. So the idea behind community cartographers is that the students would create a map of their own school. So they actually got outside, which I love that they actually went outside and walked around the school and looked at things that they may have not even paid attention to before. And then they had to, basically, it says, how do schools reflect the geographic community around us? So here's an example from Sarah that she did. And you could see she got pretty detailed, even with the wings of the school, to what grades are in which corridor, the playground, the lake. So she filled that out. And here's another one here from Mariah. You can see, some of the kids colored it really nice. And, we got Lake Erie there. You got the school. Here's another one. They've got the mobile home park that's across from the school. They've got the lake. They've got some of the trees, the school circle where the buses drop the kids off. Well, what they had to do with this was then take, when we made our connection, the other school was doing the same thing. And when we got on the video call in Empatico, the kids had to use the communication skills to describe their community to the other schools, who then had a blank map and tried to map out, based on if we were communicating effectively, and their directionals and everything, to see if we could successfully draw the other school. So here's an example of after our call. This is Michael's, and this is of Prairie Creeks. So we learned from, so he's actually sketching this just from the way that things that they're describing verbally. And they have a YMCA near their school and a water park and turf fields and a sports center. And we actually found out that our schools were actually shaped pretty much the same, which was neat. So they found that. But they were very interested in them having a water park near their school. Our kids had all kinds of questions about that. No way, you have a water park near your school? But it was a really neat activity to see what was similar, what was different, asking the right questions and communicating clearly and effectively, and just basically to use the technology to connect us. But all of this is really, this isn't digital. They're not doing this on a computer. They're just using the old paper pencil because sometimes that's the best tool for the job.
And like you said, I love the idea of going outside and being aware of things that you might just, walk by every single day and not really ever register or pay attention or,
Yeah. So when we were done, we went to Google Street View. We took the little guy off the corner. We dragged him into and dropped him in the onto Google Maps, and then we were in Street View, kind of looking around 360 at their school, and it was really neat to see. What we were just talking about and describing. It was just kind of, it made it real. And when we were on the video connection too, we kind of teased our next project, which was Weather Out the Window, because it was snowing really good outside along the lake. So we were able to kind of turn the computer and kind of show the kids the parking lot and how the snow was coming down so fast, and the kids in Kansas were just blown away. So
for any teachers that are going to watch, that are like, got so much on their plate. I don't know how I can add one more thing. What would be your,
yeah. It's just so simple to use. You don't have to really know a ton about tech. You have an email account, you register, you just set your calendar availability, and you just sit back and Empatico does the rest. They'll make the match for you. If you can text message, you can use Empatico, because in the chat, you're going to just type in your messages, and then just coordinate a quick video connection. And from there, once that video connection happens, the rest kind of just dominoes into place. And I want to say, just come back to the other project. There's all these resources online with like lesson plans and printables and you name it. And I can go through, obviously you don't have to print them, but materials and resources, teacher planning considerations, also have full activity plans. You can condense the activity, discussion ideas. And when we got to do the weather connection, what was really amazing for us here in New York is that the students over there had tornado drills. And now this is something that was completely new to our students. And our students they talk about the empathy, realizing that these students have, they talked about the tornadoes that devastated their community and how much damage was done and how long it took to rebuild the school and kind of the fear that can come over them when they have to do it, when they have to do a drill. But they said most of the massive tornadoes, and they talked about the F1s to the F5s, telling us, our students were really genuinely concerned about them. Like, oh my gosh, what if this happens to you when you're in school? What do you do? Can you take us through a drill? And they talked about how most of the bad tornadoes happen in the evening time, so most of the times they're with their families, but they talked about all the schools in Kansas having a safe shelter place where they run through these drills. The students were explaining the drills to us, which was neat because I think it reinforced for them probably what their teachers wanted them to work on in terms of their drills, the importance of being quiet so that they can communicate well. And we talked about having a fire drill, and that was the only drill that we had experienced. So just the idea that these students are in the U.S., they're just like us, they shop at all the same stores, and they are going through something that's like life-threatening at a school such as a tornado drill.
I even wonder, did any of the students, in New York, was this the first time of like the difference between an F1 and an F5? Like,
I'm sure for many, yeah. When we've connected globally, I've done a Google form with some teachers, with some students before, and I've said, what's the farthest place you've ever traveled? And I have and more often than I'd like to admit, get a response of nowhere, where they just haven't traveled. So this opens up their world. So I think it's huge. these opportunities that Empatico and other tools like it provide. So.
Well, I can't thank you enough. I'm gonna when we share this out, I'm also gonna make sure we share it out with your blog post, because I thought that was just a fabulous summary of
Yeah. If you wouldn't, I know we're wrapping up, but I'm going to actually share my screen just for a second.
Perfect.
I think I can present. I've never done this. Let's see. I'm just going to just do my entire screen. And here we go. And can you see that?
I can.
All right. So you can see here, this was the blog post, and you can see a picture here of our first connection. And you can see this is actually our second connection. This is the map sharing activity. One of our students is up there kind of describing our community, and you can see the other student up here basically creating his map off of our communication. But that gives you an idea of what the Empatico platform looks like. It's kind of like any other video conference call right there. There's an end call. There you can mute yourself or hide your video camera. There's different settings. So it's super simple. But as I scroll down the blog post, you can see also there, and basically Empatico uses research to create meaningful experiences and positive perceptions. It basically shows the why behind Empatico, which I thought was really helpful. You can see the project that we picked that says total time activity 2 to 3 hours. I mean, this is on camera time and off camera time, so just total it would take you 2 to 3 hours. But you can kind of do more or less than that. And you can see right here some of the things that are behind the scenes are reflection circles, backup plans, room setup, parent take-home letters, mini lessons, activity templates, reflection tools, teacher tips. This is what the calendar looks like behind the scene. You can kind of see this time that we blocked off here. We were available between 11:15 to 12:15, Monday through Friday. Our partner match was available on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the same time, so I can very easily click send invite. Right from within the dashboard, we have lesson plans and activities, resources and materials. I can click start video. There's a tech test. There's also FAQ up here. I mean, it's your one-stop shop, and it's just so simple. You can see right here is our students in action sharing out their maps. One of the things that took us kind of by surprise, it was really cool, was that this other class inspired our students to start a kind club. So they were going around to different children's hospitals and packaging materials and supplies for them. And so you can see this is the classroom in Kansas getting ready to send stuff out into the world. And you can see here that we have a thank you from the Children's Hospital, and our classes were sharing their kindness projects with each other. And that was not even in the Empatico dashboard. It was just something that the kids, it just kind of evolved out of the conversation of empathy and kindness. So we also shared the voicemail that we got back as a thank you with them, just to show the impact, which was really cool, from Roswell Park and the Oshai Children's Hospital. And I think I zoomed a little bit much there, but this was just a wonderful experience for us.
Wow. And that's just organically happened.
Yeah.
All as a result. That's just fantastic. Well, I can't thank you enough for taking some time just to share your experiences, but also to inspire other teachers to say, this is for grades 1 through 5, totally worth your time.
Yeah. And as a parent now, whose child is starting kindergarten next year, I think I mentioned it in the blog post, but this is an opportunity that I would want for my own child. If they can have this in the classroom, I really hope that their teacher would be willing to give it a try. So it's something that I would even suggest to them. Hey, check out Empatico. Try this out. You will appreciate it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, well, as always, I can't thank you enough. It's always fantastic to be with you. And I hope I just know that this will inspire other teachers to say, I would love to get involved. It's not going to just be one more thing. This is really impactful.
It is. Yes. Thank you so much for chatting. It gets me excited. I want to go email that teacher right now to make another connection with Kansas.
That's great. Okay, well, terrific. Thanks so much, Michael.
Thanks, Mary.
Okay, bye-bye.